Okay, well, thanks for joining me. I'm going to be reviewing this book, this collection of literature called Expat 4 in a YouTube series called Expat 4 Comes to Joesph City, Arizona. This is part one, and I'm going to start with the first piece here called Real Love by the Plastic Bagger. So, I'll read the first paragraph and read the last paragraph. I don't know why. I'm going to give you my thoughts though, but just to give you a sense of the style it's written in, let's start off with an excerpt from the first paragraph. The two of us sat in the living room, at a table beside the dresser handcrafted by her Guatemalan coworker. He drives a truck with a magic 8-ball for a gear shift and is happily married. My mom's initials, MZ, are etched into the front of the dresser inside a dark crest of perfectly smooth wood. That last detail would seem gaudy if it hadn't been given to a housekeeper of nearly 30 years, whose worldly possessions were stolen the first time our old apartment was robbed. Whoever broke in took a handful of cheap Jesus chains, cash stashed away for emergencies. My dad probably would have stolen the latter anyways. She still doesn't have much superficial crap apart from that dresser. A glowing yellow oil diffuser was on top of it, cloaking not only us, but the whole room in a pleasant eucalyptic mist. Great sentences, great flow. It reads kind of stream of conscious in a sense, like the details. He drives a truck with a magic 8-ball for your gear shift. I just have such a vivid picture personally reading that. It's awesome detail. I love the reference to the diffuser and then bringing that back in later. He has another great sentence a bit later on. He's talking to his mom. The two of us sat in the living room. That being he, the author, and his mom. And they're kind of lightheartedly going back and forth on a heavy topic of religion. And there's just a flow of light to heavy, light to heavy. You could even see it in that first paragraph where he's just talking about the details of his mom's initial being etched into the front of a dresser. You think innocent enough, and then bam, my dad would have stolen the money anyway. So you learn that the dad abandoned the mom, idiot drunk, the mom calls him later on in the story. But I was going to reference this sentence, had to do with essential oil. So being distressful of everything because, in her words, the world's a mafia. Basking in an essential oil-induced humility, I apologize to my mom for being a bad son. I love that. It's all, yeah, those oils affect you. They affect your mental state. And I guess can make you more humble. So, here's another example of heavy to light. A lot of good people don't believe in Jesus. Or I guess serious to not serious, maybe. A lot of good people don't believe in Jesus. I picked up my chewed fingernails. Two great sentences back to back. I love that flow. So, let's read the last paragraph now. Really, I think the main thing here is about his mom's view towards death, is what I've got to say my main takeaway is. And what a wonderful topic. It reminds me of Dandelion Wine by Ray Bradbury. Little Douglas is terrified to learn of death, but it's much worse when he comes to his parents and learns that they don't have answers either, and they too are terrified. And the whole book is, him coming of age and coming to understand how his parents, that who brought him into the world, views death. And it's I really I like this one. So after he and his mom have gone back and forth about religion, they talk about his grandmother's insanity. His mom's failed hopes or dreams, how she feels like a failure. And this is, yeah, I mean, pretty serious, and reminds me of kind of reading like People of New York, just like a blunt summary of someone's hardships cataloged into a paragraph. And what faster way to get to understand who that human is than to know what their dreams are and what their failed dreams are. uh, and here, just like a paragraph in a Humans of New York Instagram post, the author just kind of goes through and lists everything that his mom um, hates about her life. She hates, um, regretted the decisions she'd made beyond my dad, leaving her family farm, which had recovered after the war, and not going to school after coming to the States. I guess she's an immigrant from Guatemala, or at least taking a class to learn English. She's even guilty about not being able to buy me a house. I got up and patted the back of her shoulder. Spending almost an entire lifetime in the bubble of Long Island, Long Island wealth has warped her into thinking that buying one's kid a big house is something all Americans do. I don't want you to buy anything, I reassured her. It's weird you think you do. I'll just finish reading from here. She kissed her crucifix and forced back her tears, as we both did that night in the bath. A few droplets were left to dry on her face. I said there's no changing how our lives turned out. Not to be mean, but I'd spent a childhood watching families on TV and wondering why that wasn't us. However, I've come to accept it wasn't for any reason. It simply was. It's a good thing you pray, I said, giving an extra pat on her golden blonde head. Another trait we both share. Before returning to my seat in the mist, I'll try too one day, I told her, knowing it'd make her smile. The truth is, seeing the state of the world, I'd been thinking about God before this conversation. I've even thought, what if? What if God existed? And the problem is, I always reach the same conclusion. It wouldn't matter. At least not in this life. God or no God, bad luck or grand design. What ultimately is there to do besides be less of a dick to the people we're close to? And hope that, if my mom's right, there's some salvation for those less passionate than her. The roots of the eucalyptus plants are apparently so poisonous that they kill the plants growing underneath them. Who knows if that's true? Mom, can I ask you another question? What happened to my great-grandmother? She was restrained. She kept running out barefoot out into the woods where there were packs of wolves. Fortunately, she died not soon after, thank God. I imagined an old lady strapped to a bed calling out to the sky to know which plot of dirt her husband's body got dumped into. Her husband, I guess, had been killed in World War II, the author says earlier. I imagined an old lady strapped to a bed calling out to the sky to know which plot of dirt her husband's body got dumped into, or if it had been buried at all, until finally she drew her final breath, surrounded by family she could barely remember. Sitting in the living room, I glanced at the dresser my mom's friend had made. It was definitely deserving of her initials. She sat and sighed and awaited a heaven that may not exist. I bit off a bit more of my nail and tried to resist the fear of hell on earth unfolding once more. Well, you've got the juxtaposition between God and fingernails twice. I like that. So, yeah, I think that'll wrap it up. Looking forward to reviewing the next one, and thanks for tuning in.